Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're going to look at So Hoppy Together, which is a really lovely sort of whimsical little stamp set with frogs and butterflies and sort of little flies and some sayings, hey, hoppy for you and you can do anything. Now this is a free stamp set from January the 3rd and it's part of Sale-a-bration, and if you spend £45 across the catalogues you can choose something for free, and this is one of the free things in the Sale-a-bration catalogue. So only a few days till January the 3rd and then you can get your hands on this. So I thought we would work on this little frog down here with a little hand in the air, and we'll have a little go at stamping him out. Now this is one of the new cling stamps, exactly the same as our normal red rubber stamps. However, the sticky sheet that goes on, which most of us never used, is actually very sticky. So so I've tried a few of them and they are very good. You have to peel them off just a little bit differently, and I will show you that when we get to it. So when it goes on, you can see that it sticks and sticks and sticks. To peel it off, you literally just have to take the corner and ease it off. If you try and rip it off as we used to before, because they would fall off, it doesn't really work. So that's a little tip for you. And we then need to ink this up in a good black ink. Let me get my black ink out, and we are going to just stamp this little guy out just down on a scrap of paper because we're going to cut him out. So lovely little froggy image there. And we are then going to, let me see, what should we colour it in with today? I think I'm going to do it very quickly, so I'm just going to use a few of our blends. So let me just get out a green in the blends. And we're just going to give him just a little bit of colour. So nothing too overly fancy, just a little bit of colour on here. And I always do the little bits first. Because we're cutting it out, you don't have to be hugely accurate. But I always, as you know, turn my paper around as I go, because that helps to get into the little tiny pieces. So we're just going to do this. You can use any of our mediums that we have. So our watercolour pencils, our Stampin' Right markers, anything like that would work really quite well. So we've got a little leg coming down on the front here, so let's just colour that in. I say blends are quite nice because they're fairly quick, but I do use virtually all of our mediums. I think the watercolouring is probably the best, and I like to use either our watercolour pencils or our Stampin' Right markers, and then just use the aqua painter. But this time, as I say, I'm just doing it fairly quickly for the sake of the video, and we're just going to make him a nice little green frog. Let's just take him down on here. I think frogs are quite nice because they are, as I said, quite sort of whimsical. And so let's go around, little eyes on here, and round down on this bit. There we go. This blend has been used a lot, and it is now probably at the stage where I need to think about getting another one because it's not quite as juicy as it was. Now I think I'm going to do his tummy, and shall I do it in yellow? Yes, let's have a yellow and green little frog. I don't know whether frogs have yellow spots, but there's probably no reason why they can't, and I just wanted to make that just a little bit different on there. and he can have a little yellow tummy. Let's just do that one in like that. I'm going to keep his mouth as it is, and I'm going to keep his eyes as they are, I think. So that's our little frog image. And then all we need to do, let me just put these blends back out of the way. We're going to get our paper snips, and we are just going to very quickly just fussy cut him out. So you can leave a little bit of a border if you want to. I'm only going to leave a tiny little border, I think, on this. So let me just cut this piece out so I'm not trying to cut round. Fussy cutting is something that you either enjoy or you don't, and it's something that I've learnt over time. When I first tried fussy cutting, I didn't even like the name Fussy, because I thought, oh my goodness, it's going to take a while. But the trick to it is to move your paper and not your scissors. So if you move your paper, you tend to get a better outline. So you can see I'm turning the paper around rather than turning my scissors, and then you can just take it round, and you can get quite nicely into those little curves by, as I say, just turning your paper. So it was a trick I learnt, and once I did that, it was easier. I think as well, if you mount it on something that isn't too different, so if you're only just sort of starting out on fussy cutting, I would suggest you mount it on the same coloured cardstock, because then it's not going to show up any of the bits that you haven't cut out absolutely precisely. But as I say, it's not, most of our images aren't too difficult to fussy cut, and then the ones that are, we will have dies that will help you do that. But if you're starting off, you might not have a big shot or anything like that. So just a good pair of scissors, and I would recommend our paper snips. They are absolutely brilliant because they're very sharp, but they're also make fussy cutting really quite easy because they're virtually the right size that you need. So it's something that I invested in fairly early on, and I must admit I've tried other scissors, and to be quite honest, they are not a patch on our paper snips. So it's something that I use all the time, and occasionally if I've got them on the other table, I'll use another pair of scissors, but they're not very good. So let's just move this through on here. Right, okay, so we now have our little frog. Now, what I did for this particular one was I took another lovely stamp set, is Sweet Storybook. It's in the annual catalogue, and it has the lovely little mice, and you can make sort of like a 3D frame with the dies. But this Toadstool I think is absolutely gorgeous, and again a very easy shape to fussy cut out. And you have the piece here that is like a double stamp, so you can stamp that over in the red to get your Toadstool very quickly. So I've actually cut one of those out and coloured it in. So we then have the frog on a little toadstool. So I thought we would do, I'm just going to put this on a notelet actually, and so I will put this on here like that. Let's have the little toadstool down like this, and then we can have our little frog sitting on the toadstool, which I think looks rather nice. Now I want a saying at the top, so let me have a look and see what sayings I want. There is another new set which is coming out, which is Butterfly Gala, and the fonts on these I absolutely adore. So I think I'll have this as a little note, because then that will cover a lot of things, and if I'm doing it on the note cards, that will work very well. So let me have a look and see, does that say a little note? Yes, it does. But it's a really nice, almost handwritten font. So this one, as I say, peeling it off, just take it by the sides, peel it off, and then, as I say, I can clean that afterwards. So this is photopolymer, which is very easy to see to line up. So we're just going to put that in there, and I'm going to continue that with the black ink. So let's just move these out of the way for a minute. You'll have to excuse if you can hear this sort of noise in the background. I've got my washing machine going. I've just spent a week up in Scotland with my 96-year-old uncle for Christmas, and like everything, I have got a lot of washing to catch up on. So the washing machine is going, and it's on its spin cycle, so you might hear this sort of whizzy noise in the background. Okay, so we are going to put this onto here. So I'm going to do that with a little bit of wet glue. So let's just put this on here with the wet glue. There we are, little blob in the middle. As you know, wet glue's my favourite. Now on this one, I've just literally used the scoreboard to just give a little bit of a border on here. I'm using up a few scraps and things that I've got, so there's no sort of particular measurement or size for this. One of the notelets would work absolutely fine, and this is a little piece of pool party that I had over. And then we are going to put the toadstool down like this, and we'll have the little frog in the center. Now I might do, yes, I'm going to do just a little bit of a wash at the background at the bottom. So let's get the pool party out, and let's get our aqua painter, and we'll do a little bit of tone on tone just down at the bottom here. Obviously I've stuck that on, but that doesn't matter. So just a little bit on here. Let's move that block out of the way. So just get a little bit of water in here so it's quite loose, and then I'm going to do it in blue, but I just want to have just a little tiny bit just at the bottom to just ground that, there we go, just like that, just to ground the toadstool at the bottom. And then we can put our little toadstool on like this, and I'm going to put it up with dimensionals, I think, because that'll add just a little bit of height. So I've got minis and I've got our standards, so let's get both of those out. Sesame, some bits stuck on there. Right, so let's have 1, 2, 3 of those on there. And then we can just put the little toadstool down. But I thought it was quite fun to use something new and something from the annual catalogue as well, because I think quite often when we are just about to launch something new, it's very easy to just use everything from the new catalogue and to forget about all the lovely things that we have from the annual catalogue as well. And as I say, Sweet Storybook was one of my favourites. I love anything to do with animals and nature and something that is that's just a little different. So these little frogs as well. You know, each year we have, during Sale-a-bration, we've always had one set which is a little bit sort of whimsical, and we had chickens, and we've got this little frog this year, and I think he is he's going to be very popular. So let's put, now I haven't put any at the bottom because I want that for his little feet to actually stick onto the toadstool. And there we are. We've got a lovely little frog sat on his toadstool. Very quick, very simple, very easy little card, a little note, and you've got something to send to anybody that you want to. So the stamp sets again very quickly were the Sweet Storybook from the annual catalogue with the toadstool, and the new Sale-a-bration, which launches on the 3rd of January, which is the So Hoppy Together. So thank you so much for watching me, and do look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.